Hey guys, Johnny Gordiva here. So this video I decided to go ahead and shoot outside because I wanted you to know that I am not a hermit and I actually like nature. Also good lighting. Noise might be a little much. We do live near a pretty busy street, so I apologize about that. So I had asked on my profile what topic I should do, and I decided to do the how I feel as a big person, as someone who is just big, overweight, and kind of how that's affected me in my life. So let's start. I was actually, when I was born, I was actually a pretty lightweight baby. I weighed about 7 pounds, which was pretty typical. And I grew up and I always had cute chubby cheeks, you know, and you know, but I didn't really start gaining weight until I was about 4 or 5, where the weight really started showing, at least, you know, for a kid. And I started, you know, I always had a big round face, and just with time I started, you know, getting bigger and bigger, getting more and more weight. And with that, you know, you already feel like an outsider because you don't look like everybody else. And especially other little kids who are mostly skinny, you know, it's really rare to find like a lot of chubby kids all at the same time. There's always usually that, you know, maybe 1 or 2 chubby kids in a class, but where I went to school, it was actually just me. So, you know, there was that too. So that didn't help that I was kind of like the only overweight kid in the classroom. My family was also pretty extreme about it. My mom was really worried that I was going to get, especially like in my teenage years, that I was going to grow up, be so big, that I was going to have a heart attack, you know, and I'm like 14, 15, you know, hearing this. You know, you get words thrown at you. You also, and I've noticed this even more recently as opposed to then, but then it was, I guess it was just more serious. That people kind of try to avoid you. And when they avoid you, it just kind of makes you feel bad because you're like, why, you know? There's some stereotypical things that people think about bigger people. They're lazy, which I am. I'm pretty lazy, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, I love doing things. It's not that I don't want to do them. It's people avoid me. It's hard to do stuff by yourself, you know. So, you know, and then depression sets in. You know, there's like a whole domino effect that they kind of don't realize. You know, that we smell, that's another thing. I wash my body for 30 minutes every day. There's so much of me that I have to wash my body a lot. So, and people, I mean, I used to have girls all the time, oh my god, you smell so good. Thank you. You know, so it's just like, no, we don't smell. We're not lazy necessarily. You know, and there's other misconceptions that we think we're better than everybody, and it's like, no. But we do have to kind of have overconfidence at times to be able to fight off people who feel like bringing us down. And there is this constant barrage of people who just want to tell you how fat you are and how disgusting you are, and you know, and you have that from a whole society. You have that through marketing, you have that just from a society point of view, your neighbors, you know, obviously I told you about my family, how my family was worried about certain things, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, you're growing up with that, and you know, I had mentioned in my first video, queer as folk, as well as watching other gay videos, and even though me being gay is not everything that I am, it's still a part of me, and you know, and we're still kind of being divided, so, and that's another video for another time, but you know, on these shows and and everything, it's all skinny people. There wasn't one overweight person, you know? Like, if you watch Queer as Folk, there's a character named Ted. He's not even overweight, and especially when you see him, yeah, except for the last season, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, you see him naked or, you know, shirtless, and he's no bigger than somebody else, and he doesn't show, like, flab or anything like that. But because he's not muscular and toned, he's automatically fat or, you know, not as attractive. And it's those image things that really cause people like myself and other bigger people to have a lot of self-esteem issues. So not only are we ostracized from regular society, it's even more so in the gay community. So I firmly believed that nobody would love me because I was so big. I would have to lose weight before they'd be able to love me. And then I met this guy who was a chaser, and he introduced me to the chub chaser world. And I realized, hey, there's guys who find me attractive. So, you know, what is it about me that they find attractive? And, you know, and then there's a couple of different kinds of chasers. There's the fetish guys who really only love you for being big. That they like the belly, they want to like worship your belly, stuff like that. They kind of want to make you bigger. Then there's an encourager thing. And then there's chasers who, they just prefer guys, you know, that's the size that they like. Kind of like straight guys that like meat on women's bones, you know, to have some meat on their women. So, so with that, you know, you're kind of learning like, hey, someone likes you and, you know, and at least finds you physically attractive. So, you know, that's great. That makes you feel good. I will go further. My kitty cat has to like be in my lap. So, I will go further into some tips and things that I did to start feeling good about myself and loving myself. And I'm going to do that in another video. I don't know if that'll be the next one, for tomorrow, but, you know, that's kind of what it's like growing up and being big. You know, you're just kind of constantly being looked at, and because you're a big person and, you know, you kind of stick out there, you know, sadly, you know, it's like flights, you know, like on an airplane, fucking horrible for a big person because you don't have any room. You hardly have enough room as a skinny person, let alone a big person. Theaters, stuff like that, trying to get through the aisles and things of that nature. You just stick out, you know, you stick out like a sore thumb. So, yeah. So I hope you guys liked it. Please feel free to comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. This won't be the only video where I talk about this. I will go deeper. This is just part 1, and I'll put that as the title. Now tomorrow I may not talk about part 2 yet, but just keep an eye on that. So feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and thanks for listening. See you later.